Welcome to Celebrate a Sister podcast. I'm your host, Emma Walkinshaw. I'm a transformational coach. I facilitate the Clarity Catalyst. I'm the founder of Morning Magic Membership. I also lead retreats here in Australia and internationally. I love all things self-mastery, mindset, and personal development. Here on this podcast, I bring you some pretty exceptional women. We talk all things creativity, business, love, life, and moving forward with self-awareness. I also come to you from time to time with a solo podcast with lots of life according to Emma moments where I share some tools and also some, hopefully, inspiration for you to take the next step. Thanks for being here. Big warm welcome to the Celebrate a Sister podcast. Again today, my dear friend, Madonna the Goddess, and I are discussing many topics, but today we're going to really dive into the conversation around how women can support women and what are some things that or ways that we can show up in the sisterhood and really come together and move this body confidence and body acceptance forward. So Madonna, hello, my darling.
Hi, love. Nice to talk to you. My
So good.
twinsy.
I know, so good to have you here, my love. And Madonna
Thank
and I
you.
did a podcast a few weeks ago. And can I say, Madonna, well, I know that you know this, but the amount of messages, emails, and people that I've seen that listen to that all just said, wow, what a big topic. And we merely just scratched the surface. And that's why we're here again today, you know, taking it another, I guess, bringing another shining another light on it. And we were just discussing then, and you know, we discussed quite a few things before we hit record, but I'll start with a quick little story that my cousin told me this week. And then Madonna, I want to hear your thoughts on it. So I was chatting to my gorgeous cousin this week, and she was at work and she works with a lot of women. And one of the women is in a beautiful curvy body and wears clothes that someone could say are tight or fitting, let's say. And my cousin had a thought that day how gorgeous she looked. And they were in the staff room. And as that beautiful woman walked out, one of the other women said in front of the room, who does she think she is? And who would wear that? And my cousin, bless her sweet heart, said, well, that's not very kind, is it? And stood up and walked out. And, you know, to me, that is just, yeah. I mean,
Championing another woman when she's not in the room. Yeah.
Yes. So, Madonna, I want you to talk about your experience because I know you've had some experiences, and particularly with your following on social media and the comments that you get from other women is astounding. But like you said, championing other women, and that's part of this body acceptance and body confidence movement, I believe. Tell me
100%.
about your experience with other women.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's interesting. People always think that because of I am lingerie fitness, swimwear, a lot of foundational wear is what I model. Obviously, because I'm a curvy girl, just happens to present in that category a lot of times. So you would think that a lot of the commenting that I would get would be from males, right? It would be negativity from males. And I'm going to tell you, every day of the week, the negativity that I receive 100% comes from women. And I would say my typical genre of women that is the most critical is the 40 to 65-year-old or 40 plus year old woman, we'll say. Hypercritical. Now, dial that back. What generation you and I come from? That diet generation. I mean, where being thin was next to godliness. To be thin was, I mean, you know, that was the compliment. I was saying I was just watching a 90 Day Fiance last night, and a beautiful woman from America was going to marry a Korean man. And the compliment the family paid to the woman was how thin she was. That was the extent of her value to them, was she was thin. And she was beautiful because she was thin. Not she was beautiful, but she was thin, and that was her value. I thought, man, if I get reduced to being that's my value, that's what I contribute is being thin. we've got a real problem on our hands. We've got a lot of beautiful contributing members of society being reduced to body size, right?
Yeah.
So excuse me, not to get off topic, because I love to do that. But getting back, my experience is consistently negative comments from women. If I receive them, I don't receive a ton of negativity, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot of the inner work I've done, because I don't believe any of those things. So I literally don't call it into my experience. I mean this. I have a very positive, if you look at my media, I rarely have anything negative. If I do, it will be from a woman. It will be from a woman. And excuse me, I'm just gonna adjust this. Yeah, it'll be from a woman. And I at my TikTok tends to be a little bit more because it's a broader audience. I have a larger following there, so it's a lot more people converging to have negativity, right? Like, you're gonna have a lot of positivity, but then you're gonna have some sprinkled in negativity, the larger, the commenting group. So I have a few videos on there that are specifically, I'll respond to a woman, and I always try to do it with kindness, because there's no reason you won't teach anybody anything being mean. I fully believe that. I have a transgender child, and that's the same concept for us with teaching people acceptance. It's never taught in unkindnesses or making somebody feel small. It's helping empower somebody to know that there's different paths, right? So we never do that unkindly. And it's the same with body positivity. You'll never see me respond in unkindness to somebody or call them out, to like that they're a bad person. It's always to try and show them the behavior and how toxic it can be to judge one another that way when we don't know who we're dealing with or what their path is, right?
Yeah.
And it always is because they haven't accepted themselves. Always. That's what I'll leave that on. Because if somebody is in a place of pure acceptance, it should always be exciting for other people to see somebody empowered and living their path. And who the fuck cares why they're walking that path? I have my path, you have yours. We can't all walk on the same path. There's not enough room. Anyways, we all have to find our own path, right? So
And
why the hell do we want everybody to? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. You're right. We don't want not everyone's going to walk the same path. We all come in different shapes, sizes, and like we discussed on last podcast, that when you're from a different heritage or a different part of the world, your body is going to be different to someone else's, different cultural. That's just how it is. And then wanting everyone to show up how you are is not going to happen. So it's acceptance. But I love what you said. The uncomfortableness comes when someone's judging another person's body or commenting. The uncomfortableness really comes when there's not been the acceptance of self.
And I find that too when somebody's sexy and presenting themselves. It could be any body type. Truly, because I'm a boudoir photographer as well in my career, and I will have women post their photos, shoot, maybe, and always photos that are tasteful, because nobody wants to put like their nude photos on there. They'll just put something lovely, maybe in a negligee, or in a gown or something. And I almost always will hear kickback from them that they got something from Aunt Mary, or they got something from a friend from college. Man, and it's the same concept. It's, who the hell does she think she is? And nobody would act like that if they love themselves. I'm telling you, I really do truly love myself. And when I see beautiful pictures of another woman, it does nothing but get me happy. Sometimes I get tearful, because I'm like, she's feeling herself, girl. She is in her moment. And it gets me so happy, because who the hell cares? Maybe she looks like a dork. Maybe to you, that isn't what you would wear. But that girl feels herself in that moment. That selfie feels like she's on top of the world. She wants you to see that moment because it felt so fucking good. So I'm going to tear her down. What good in the world will that do?
Yeah.
What good? It's only because of pain that we do things like that. It's only because we want you to see how in pain we are. We can't accept that for ourselves. We can't change it. We can't accept it. So we need to fuck with that person, because that'll change something in our world for that moment. So if you interact with that, you interact with that. And that's your problem. That's the truth. You have to start developing a skin that shit bounces right off of as a human being. Because that is just pain being reflected on you. It'll be reflected on you for the rest of your life. It's never going to go away. It's how you choose to respond to it and receive it. And as women, like you said, what can we do, right? Like, we can speak honey words over other women when they're not in the fucking room. We can, when somebody says something like that, we don't even have to confront that woman. We can just say, I thought she looked fucking hot. Being honest with you, I asked her where the link for that outfit was. So you might see me in it next week, Linda. I'll see you at the next meeting. I'd pull some shit like that with her. I'd be like, well, I thought it looked fucking hot. And I have a date on Friday, so I'll be wearing that. Something like that. That's like, that woman's built up. She wasn't even in the room. There's a quote I love that's like, You need to choose friends that speak magnanimous words over you in rooms you're not even standing in. How
Yeah.
powerful is that? You're not even
Beautiful.
there and they're building you up, right? You and I are like that. We gas each other up like crazy. That's a powerful friendship, right? It's like, "Oh, you should meet this person. Oh my God, they're so amazing. She's so lovely. I love when women start vibing like that. Oh, nothing is nicer than when you hear women going, isn't she so sweet? Oh, I love what she did. I literally get chills because
Yeah.
it's just energy building. You're just sending that girl love. She's feeling that. You think she's not then sending love back going, "Ugh, when Emma see Emma, she just lights me up. Her whole aura is beautiful. She makes me happy." And Emma feels that, and then Emma passes it on. It's all just beautiful regeneration of energy rather
Yeah.
than perpetuating negativity and fueling this machine of negativity. And it is out there. It is media. It is culture. It is social norms. It is beauty standards. It's all fucking set up for us to hate each other.
Mm. And you know, for anyone who's listening to this and knows that feeling that when they're observing another woman and they are noticing judgment start to come up, it's really not about that other woman. It's an inner calling to you to start to question what part of you can't accept or self-love yourself, because it's really a judgment on yourself. And I know that you hear that whatever word you're saying is back, but particularly when you look at someone and let's say, the example of someone looks sexy, let's say that they've got this
That's a big
absolutely,
trigger for women. Yeah,
do
big,
you
big
remember
trigger.
what observing a woman that looks sexy or seductive, or she's,
Yeah.
fancy free and she's got this energy about her. And when that triggers you, you're part of yourself asking, what part of myself is not allowing myself to embody a feeling of X, Y, or Z. And I've used the word sexy, but maybe
Yeah.
it's not sexy. Maybe it is a light energy,
Sensual? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sensual. You know what? When we observe that and it brings it up into us, then just saying, I too can have that if I choose. If I choose, it's more
Oh,
about you than
yeah.
them.
I know that if a woman's activated by that, and when I was younger, I interacted with it constantly. I get in fights all the time with friends, right? When they correct me or criticize. I'm a Scorpio moon. I don't know if a lot of your followers are astrological gals, but I would imagine so. I'm a Scorpio moon. It's a deeply sensual sign. It's
Yeah.
a deeply sensual aspect to my chart. It demands to be seen, if that makes sense. And that might explain a little bit about me, but it's like see me, see what's happening for me, see my feelings, see me in my who I and I also Leo as a sun sign, right? So it's just this demand. And I think, there's a lot of people like this that need to express themselves in that way and they hold themselves back because they're afraid they'll be judged and they don't allow themselves to expand in that way. So I think it's a really important space for us as women to hold space for us to be the sensual creatures that we are, because really we are life propagators. We are the bringers, we are light bearers. We are creative muses to the world. We are the ones that teach divine magic to one another. All of that is comes from our womb space, comes from our energy, comes from us as women and creators in this world. And a lot of that has to do with sensual sexual energy. It really does. We don't spend enough time cultivating it. It's super important to cultivate your sensual sexual energy. I love that you distinguish the difference. I find that my energy is consistent if I'm wearing a tracksuit or if I'm wearing a dress. I'm a sexual sensual being. That's who I am. I carry that energy with me. So I would probably elicit a response either way, if that makes sense. Whether
Yeah,
I was wearing something like this or something totally covered up, right?
because it's an energy and it's the way you move and being comfortable in yourself and being fully expressed. The other thing that we talked about before was, that whole women commenting on other women's bodies. And
Oh,
I know that I've done that. Like from time to time, I may have seen someone I've said, you and from your perspective, Madonna, how can we say it better? Let's say I see a beautiful woman and I want to compliment her, but I don't want to put a focus on her body per se. How do you
yeah,
do that with grace without, because I know that when someone can give a compliment about, let's say, body, and even if it's positive, it can be really uncomfortable. So
yeah.
how can we as women, hold that line and like you say, I love, speak words of honey on a woman without shining a light on her body or her weight or her, because there's a dark and a light to that.
Yes.
How,
Well, and you know, we come from totally different, similar but different cultures right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, also, I'm half Australian. Like, I was raised by an Australian woman, so I am Australian as well. But I know quite a difference that honestly, the body positivity movement is just emerging in your community right now, where it's been here for a minute, right? Like, so there's more consciousness in the way we speak to each other, in the way, you know, we compliment each other and what we bring up. Body, it's not perfect, but it's definitely becoming in vogue, right? To be aware and conscious of how you're speaking. So, what I would say is what people need to understand is the reason for that is because there are a lot of people who deal with deeply rooted nutritional issues of hyper MS, where there's somebody who makes themselves throw up to stay thin, you know, excuse me, a bulimic. We have people who've dealt with eating disorders like anorexia, all sorts of disorders where they're withholding food for reasons of staying within beauty standards, or obviously making themselves sick to stay within beauty standards. But when we use terms like, you look so thin, or she's so skinny, or look how fit she is, anything that's really referring to a better body than what the body that you're standing in, many times we've seen in psychology that those people then reflect that against their own psyche, against who they are as a human, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's okay, whether you do that or not, probably you don't, right? I mean, of course, you don't have disease psyche going on for yourself, right? Like something that's abnormal that you need to treat. So what happens is that person may have just healed and come out of, you know, eating disorder recovery, and they're feeling well and walking through their life. And then somebody triggers it with a comment like, have you just lost a lot of weight? Or have you just gained a few pounds? You look wonderful. While they think that's a compliment, that person just came out of eating disorder recovery and then reflects, I've gained too much weight. People are noticing. It's time to lose weight again. And the whole cycle begins again. We need to be conscious as humans of the way we communicate with each other. It's not, people will say, well, it's so fanciful to like, we're just going to just dance around everything. Well, no, but we could be kind and we could be conscious and we could try ways not to hurt one another.
Mm.
That would be kind, right? So I would say that the first thing would be never to bring up weight loss, never to bring up weight. Weight doesn't ever need to be a topic that you speak to another woman.
Yeah.
I think the only appropriate compliment to another one, unless it's like you and I deeply close friends, and you've asked me maybe to reflect, like, have you noticed that this is you know, have you noticed I've done this? I keep this true even if somebody's pregnant. I'm serious.
Yes.
Unless you're crowning, I'm not asking you. I'm not. Unless you bring it up, I'm not saying anything. I don't care. I would never hurt somebody like that. It's so wrong.
Yeah.
So unless they're like grabbing their tummy or, you know, whatever, I need obvious markers. But it's the same. If you're complimenting this woman, let's say you notice, wow, this woman's really seems like she's tightened up. Things look like she's been working out. She's been taking care of herself. I would say to the person, you look fantastic. You look like you're so in your power right now. It looks
Yeah.
like you have really embodied the goddess that you are. I'm so happy for you. Whatever's going on here is fucking dope. Like, keep it going, you know? And then she opens up and says, you know what? I go to Pilates now 4 times a week and I feel so good. I'm vibing at Pilates. My body feels good. Sex is better. You know, all this stuff. It doesn't even need to be a topic that she lost 40 pounds in the process and is 3 pant sizes down. Okay, great. Cool for her.
Yeah.
Maybe she gained weight from this exercise and she doesn't want to talk about that either because she gained a bunch of muscle. Yeah, I don't know. It don't matter is the truth. Your need to talk about, not you, but you know,
Yeah.
their need to talk about it is their own insecurities needing to talk about it. The only lovely acceptable compliment to another woman is how vital and beautiful they look. And it's never, wow, you really took some of that hideous weight off. And I can actually accept looking at you now because you've taken that off.
Yeah. Or I remember a compliment that I had once at one stage, you know, my weight has fluctuated. Everyone's has. Everyone's weight has fluctuated.
Cheers to that.
And I
Yeah.
remember someone saying to me, "Oh gosh, Em, you look good. You could never have worn a dress like that before." I was like, "Whoa."
Bet me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know what I mean? And look, no harm was meant. Yeah. No harm
But
was meant.
that's the thing. You know, I love the no harm was meant because that you're right. No harm was meant. But it's like when somebody says to you, well, do you want me to tell you the truth? Fuck no. Hold it in, please. Like a fart, please. Wait to get to the bathroom and tell the bathroom the truth.
Yeah.
If anybody asks you that, word of advice to anybody listening, no, no, no. They're going to insult you. It's a red flag. They're
Yeah.
literally setting it up that way. You do not need other people's input. You don't, unless they are somebody you're seeking for medical treatment or for, some sort of holistic care,
Yeah.
or your life coach or somebody you're paying and employing to like give you advice. In no way is that person ever entitled to assert their opinion. Well, I mean, I didn't know how to tell you this, but I don't know if you should wear pants that tight around your midsection. It just really isn't that flattering. I can see your tummy. Well, bitch, I tried to show my tummy today, so swallow it. I'm serious. Like,
Yeah.
get bent.
It's
I
that
don't need.
Yeah, it's that unsolicited advice. Unless I'm asking for your opinion, don't give it to me. And it's
And I'm
almost
not
like that
going
around,
to. I'm not going
yeah,
to.
it's around nutrition too, when people just launch into wanting to
Oh,
start giving you nutrition advice.
great segue, babe. Great. I mean, I will tell you what the funniest thing when I initially, because I've always been a plus size model, but I really like got into body positivity movement about 5 years ago. When I first got into it, I couldn't believe the amount of coaches that would pop in my box with nutrition programs and stuff like that. And at first, I mean, I look back at my posts 5 years ago, and I would get so impassioned and pissed and freak out on people. Now I just block, delete, block, delete, block, delete. It's all automated. Most of it, it doesn't even matter. But I thought they must put keywords in to target people that love themselves. How
Yeah,
sad, right? Like, they literally, body positivity is probably their target because they know it's, somebody maybe that's learning to love themselves and in more vulnerable standpoint, and they sell these huge programs. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's not one fucking program that's gonna get you to your goal weight besides loving yourself and prioritizing your fucking needs.
absolutely. And I love,
Everything
like,
else is temporary. It's
yeah,
temporary.
I mean, that was the biggest light bulb for me last time we chatted on the podcast, was you saying to me, body positivity, body acceptance, body confidence is very different to health. And like you explained last podcast, yes, health, absolutely health, getting to Pilates, moving your body. But while we're in this self criticism and being so nasty and not accepting, we're not going to get to the yoga class. We're not going to get to Pilates. We're not going to look after ourselves because we're too busy
No,
hating on
we're gonna
ourselves.
go to McDonald's, we're gonna go through the
Exactly.
drive-through and make another shitty choice.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
beat ourselves up and stay in that cycle. Whereas, it, beating up on yourself never gets yourself anywhere. And I also say too, right now, if I'm not to love myself, the body I'm in, that's a problem because I ain't anywhere else until,
100%.
it's I have to love where I'm at right now, no matter what. Embrace it no matter what, because that's
Yes.
it. I'm not
So can
anywhere
I
else.
bring up something that is interesting to me that people do that I think is just absolute shit, is when you buy something in a smaller size than your size currently. I don't care if you are in a fitness program and you're dropping weight, like you can't even keep it on. Never buy yourself something that says you have to change to look beautiful. Never, just for the energy of it. Just for the energy of it. Wait till you're at that weight and then go find that dress, whatever it is. Buy it in a bigger size, get it altered. I don't care. Don't buy something saying, you know what, you're going to wait till you lose this weight. We're going to self-flatulate. We're going to keep it till you look pretty enough. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you, I worked for Nordstrom for 17 years. That's our big, beautiful department store here in the
Yeah.
United States. You might have been to a Nordstrom for all I know. It's like a Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, that type of thing.
Is it like a
Women would come in.
Macy's? What's it like? Because I've been to.
No, it's definitely in the fancy. It's the Neiman Marcus range. Like, do you know what
Okay.
Neiman's or
No.
Bloomingdale's? What else would you? Oh my gosh, Bergdorf, Goodman, Saks Fifth Avenue. Those are our big department stores. But anyways,
Oh,
so
anyway,
people
yes.
buy
Tell
their
me.
special fancy dresses there, right? They're
Yeah.
fancies. Tiger Lily, maybe it's a Tiger Lily type
Tiger Lily. Yeah,
store.
beautiful.
Bigger, it's a department store, but those
Yeah.
brands, the
Yeah,
gorgeous and the
beautiful.
lovely brands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but women would come in for this gorgeous gown, whatever, buy it in too small a size when they had their size generally, and say, I'm going to make myself lose weight to wear this.
Oh.
Oh, is right. Like,
Mm.
what I remember, my mom had this thing, and it was like this story framed, and I always thought it was so interesting. And it was like this woman had bought lingerie and she put it in a drawer, and she was going to take it out and wear it when she'd lost enough weight for her husband or for a special occasion or something.
Yeah.
And basically, holiday after holiday, she'd take it and look at it and take it out and try it on, but never wear it for him. And then he died. And
Oh,
it's saying like these moments pass. These moments in your
yes.
life will pass. I don't ever worry about buying if I wear something that I feel good in that at that time. I do not
Yeah.
worry about hurting myself to get myself to, I'm not a dog. I'm not being trained. Like,
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
really like shitty behavior for us. Honestly, diet culture is absolute garbage. It's just that it was normalized in our childhood for most of us in our age range.
Yeah.
But when you break it down, the way that I remember my mom used to go to Weight Watchers. That's a weight loss program here in the
Oh,
United
I
States.
know it, Madonna. Been many times.
Okay, yeah, weekly weigh-ins, right? Weekly
Yeah.
weigh-ins, and she would. Sorry, mom, I love you so much, but she would reward herself again. Australian mom, because the diet culture, it was heavy in my mom, like heavy, heavy. But she would reward herself by going to Taco Bell right afterwards. Tell me how counterintuitive that is.
Okay, I'm with your mum. I totally know that mindset. And now I look
Oh,
back at and
I gotta go to
it
Taco Bell.
really is a healing journey. So my thing would be I would have to weigh in for Weight Watchers. So that day before Weight Watchers, all day I would only eat an apple because at all costs you weigh
Same
less
with
on those
mom.
scales.
Yep.
One apple
And
that day.
it doesn't even make sense because either way it's there. You know what I mean? It's
It's
this game you're playing.
This is the thing, right? This is the total thing. It's such a mind game. And then exactly that. Your mum would drive through Taco Bell's. I'd drive through McDonald's because that's what you do.
I just remember being like, please lose weight. We get to go to Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's mental.
Yeah.
So I did want to, in recapping, I mean, we've talked about this whole, diet culture doing a number on us. We've talked about how we can really support other women. That's probably if I think about the torch I want to hold and the light I want to hold, is that I absolutely support women no matter what shape, size, age, authenticity, that total inclusivity and celebrating women. Hence the name of the podcast, Celebrate a Sister, celebrating a women just for being women, just for being
Yes.
women. So
It's hard to be a woman. It is.
it's
It is a hard
yes.
thing.
So let's just celebrate women, every way, shape, or form. So, Madonna, what are your three tips? What are three things that we can do today moving forward to absolutely celebrate the woman, at the bus stop, at the cafe, at the restaurant, the ones that are connected to us, the ones that we know intimately and don't know, for our daughters, for our
Mm,
sons? What are
yeah.
three tips?
Number one, honoring your own boundaries. Number one, honoring your boundaries, setting things in place, setting guidelines in place that help you feel seen and honored in the world, that you don't feel walked on, that you don't feel taken advantage of, that you stand up for the things that matter to you as a woman in this world. That
Can
will
you give me
pass
an
on to
example?
your, yeah, it would be in situations where you feel like friends are leaving you out, or friends have spoken poorly about you, or friends have acted in a way that's not in integrity, right? Like that's not aligned with the way that you are. It's speaking that out to someone. It's holding the line. It's walking away from things that aren't meant for you, even when it's uncomfortable. Towing that line. As women, we're taught to people please. We're taught to do what is required of us and to endure, to even if we have to talk shit about other women, if we have to, which leads to my next guideline. But we are taught to, to hold the line instead of saying what we need. We weren't allowed to go to college for many years. We weren't allowed to, further ourselves in the world or hold careers. There's many ways we were held back. One of the ways we can hold ourselves back in this life, in this time in our life, is to not speak our truth, is to not honor our boundaries. Speaking our truth is honoring our boundaries. It's telling people how we need to be seen and held in the world, right? To feel safe. And we're all different. We all come from different backgrounds. So many times boundaries are different for different people. But I think the most healthy, important thing we can do is pass on to the next generation, to our granddaughters, to our to our children, healthy boundaries, being able to speak out what makes you feel safe in the world and loved, right? And instead of just enduring or going by whatever somebody else tells you is the standard. I think that's super important, to love one another, to hold standards with the men that we interact with the people, the women that we interact with the relationships in our life, that we hold them in integrity and we make sure they're in alignment for us, or we change our boundaries. Because
Mm.
that's just going to pass on to the next generation of women saying, no, this is how I like it. This is how I want it. I'll move on if it's not how I like it. I don't have to stay if I'm unhappy. That mentality is what perpetuates abuse and a lot of mental instability for people,
Yeah.
is just enduring rather than changing circumstances and asking for what you want. So,
Yeah.
number one, towing the line. That's what I would call that. Towing the
Okay.
line.
Towing the
Even when
line.
it's hard, saying what you need and right, and speaking into the world what you need to support you. Second of all, never ever standing in a conversation, standing in a room, standing with a woman, sitting with a woman, eating lunch, whatever it is, and speaking poorly about another woman. It just doesn't need to fucking happen ever. It doesn't. Even if you know this woman is fucking up. I mean it. Even if you know the woman, let her live her life. You don't need to speak any more negativity over her life. I guarantee you the world will take care of it. It always does. Things, whatever's happening for somebody, life will just naturally take care of it. You don't even have to stick your nose in it. Like, it just will evolve and take care of itself. And many times what you're judging, that person is punishing themselves a million times over, and they absolutely in no way need you to add to the inferno of fire. If people could really see other people's hearts, we would all love one another. It's unbelievable how much we judge and put boundary and restraint with love within one another. So not judging another woman, not speaking poorly about her, not speaking poorly about her, not participating in negativity talk, not participating in gossip culture, not participating in needing to at all speak out what somebody needs to be or do in the world, right? Like in a conversation with other women. There just isn't a necessity. And I promise you, in conversations with high vibration women, and I don't mean to like this, I don't mean this to sound vain, but you and I want to use this as an example. Have we ever talked about a woman's clothing or the way she looked? Honestly, besides the vernacular talking about like the conversation, can't remember if we've ever talked about it, ever.
No.
Described a woman, it's just not part of our the way we converse, the way we talk. Yeah, so it makes me sad that that's all that a lot of people have to discuss
Mm.
is the
For me, it's
propriety or,
yeah, for
yeah.
me, it's low vibe. Like when people
Oh,
are talking out people, like
it's
I actually
good.
find it really boring. I'm like, really? Like we've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
so many other
Well,
juicy
because
things to talk
it's
about.
all jealousy usually. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it feels like. It has because they haven't accepted that part of themselves. That
Yeah.
she's accepted and loved is
Yeah.
generally what's happened. And the worst is when somebody's struggling. Even when you know they're struggling and you're like, whatever's going on, and you're like, what am I just going to kick her while she's down? We're going to sit here and just talk about it. It's going on in her life right now. Like, it's at a number one. People know that with me, and I have actually had friends like remove me from their life. They think I'm judging them. Like they're like,
Yeah.
oh, she's so judgy. She doesn't ever let us talk or be ourselves. And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. And I lead women's retreats, and if I hear shit like that, it is shut the fuck down. That is not okay. It is because you are unhealed. That is the only reason people participate in behavior like that. It's period. When you love yourself and you're vibing and your life is on fire, like I fucking feel like I don't have time to worry about what she's wearing unless I'm asking for an outfit, like, because I want to buy it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I
Unless you're loving
don't.
on it. Yeah. What's your third?
No. Oh, yeah, third. Okay. So I would say this kind of relates to two, but they're just so both such important components. It's speaking honey words over somebody when they're not in the room. It's then building that person up with what you really believe about them. It's standing in integrity. If you love that woman, if you thought she looked hot when she was wearing that, if you thought she was sexy and lovely and embodying her sensual energy, say that. Say, I just think she's amazing. When I see her, my heart gets so excited, and she's always fun to talk to. Anchor truth, anchor what's really going on. We are people pleasers. We are out there trying to make sure. The reason we do that is because anthropologically we've been taught if we don't do what somebody else wants, they'll withdraw their love from us and they won't pay attention to us. They won't like us. Who cares? I challenge you. Give two fucks about who likes you or who cares anymore, and see how much awesomer your life is. Sorry, more awesome, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry again, mom. Anyways, it's more awesome your life gets. The less I give two shits about what somebody thinks about me, and I'm a loving, kind person. Don't get that twisted. I just mean I'm not going to participate in anybody's judgment of my life. Period. goodbye. There's lots of people to go enjoy. I'm not yours anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
it. I have no time for it. None.
Yeah.
None.
And it's totally, for me, the feeling, like, I love to just totally feel into things. How do I feel when I walk away from a gathering or a connection or a group? And if I'm feeling absolutely heart is full and with that spring in my step and energized, I think, yeah, more of that, yes, please. Because
More of that.
that's that beautiful equal energy exchange. That's it.
That
And
life elixir.
yeah, and for me, I often feel like a complete walking contradiction. Like, sometimes I struggle with this. Thoughts will come in, and it is constantly being conscious.
Yes. Yes, it's living in alignment with, and it's conscious of those thoughts and immediately I get them too. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not any better. I'm just more conscious and I work with it every day. It's a muscle I pump. My confidence and the way I treat other people and my self-love practice. It's all muscles I pump every single day. And I consider it, like I think I've talked about, maybe I brought this up in the last podcast, but I consider the way that I live my life the beauty way. It's a spiritual saying, but the beauty way, I leave more goodness behind me than was there before I got there, right? Like I leave a trail of rose petals behind me, so to speak, as a goddess. I walk through the world in honey. I walked through leaving sweetness and more goodness than was there before I walked, before it was walked through by me. And that's the beauty way. And so would the beauty way support me speaking nasty about somebody and reducing my vibration to where I really, if we were looking at it from an energetic standpoint, I just look gross, just vibrating there, just nasty, just talking about somebody? Or would the beauty way say, lift the vibration right now when you hear that nastiness? Speak honey words over her right now. You think she's beautiful. You think she's precious. She's changed your life in a lot of ways. Don't let that person think that that's okay to speak about this beautiful person. Build her up. You don't have to fight with them. You don't have to even interact with what they said. You can literally just say, I think she's magic. When she walks in, it makes my heart lighter. Whatever it is, maybe that's not what you want to say, but
Yeah,
there's
whatever it
something,
is. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there's something that means something. And could you imagine as that woman if you heard that you did that for them? I've had that. I've had that somebody come to me and say that it's touched me so deeply that the person will never know how much, because having somebody speak those beautiful words about you in rooms you're not standing in is significant. It's
Yeah.
significant.
Yeah.
You're significant. We all are. They're worthy of being protected and loved and held in a positive space rather than just reducing them to physical attributes.
Yeah. I love that. Love that. So that is our work. So the 3 tips are: boundaries, toe the line. Don't be a people pleaser, like really
Yeah.
stand in your own boundaries. Don't
Yeah.
speak poorly about other women or other people. Let's just
Mm.
say, really stand by your own integrity. And the third one is really that, speak up for other women. It's almost like being an advocate for other people on the lighter side. If it's authentic and it's true and you feel that energy, it's okay to say it, because a lot of people have a default where they go to the opposite. And
Yes.
I remember a long time ago someone saying, I don't know who said it. Oh, it's a Brené Brown. Brené Brown says it. People
Her.
will Yeah, people will gossip with each other because they're hot wiring a friendship. They're trying to find a common ground to connect. You can
Yeah.
find on a
That
gazillion
is
other
so
people.
true. It's such a toxic behavior in women.
It
So
is.
toxic.
We're going to hotwire this relationship and through putting other people down. Let's connect
Mm.
through toxicity and misery and speaking.
Misery loves
Honestly.
company. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When it's not great, it's not a way to hotwire. Well, it's false
I love
economy, I
that you
think, is
brought that
what
up.
she
It's
says.
huge. It's
Yeah,
huge what you just said. I think that all of us as women can take that in and go, yeah, I know I've done that. Or
yep,
I've been a part of something like that.
totally.
And I'm going to challenge women, even if you don't think that, if somebody speaks poorly about another woman, cultivate something to say nice about her. Think about something nice that you can make. Doesn't have to come up, but I challenge you to be an energy warrior.
Yeah,
Live your life the beauty way. Leave it higher vibration than where you encountered it. Right? Let's
yeah,
say you get in a traffic thing with somebody, and trust me, I'm not going to say that every time this happens. One of the interesting concepts I learned in Taoism is like, if you don't interact with something, did it actually happen? Right? So let's say you're in traffic and somebody flips you off. right? If I don't see them flipping me off, maybe I see it out of the corner of my eye, right? And I'm like, I could either choose to look over and interact with it, because you're going to. If you see them flipping you off,
Yeah.
something's going to happen. You're either going to go back, right back, or you're going to go, I think it's funny to wave, but but
Yeah.
but if you don't look at all, did it happen? Because there was no reaction.
Yeah.
They threw something out. They threw a softball out, but did you pick it up, or did you just let it lay there and just let the energy go away?
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Just let it go away. I challenge you to do that. You don't have to fight with any. I'm not telling you to go pick fights, because you're not going to change people's opinion
No,
by that.
no.
That girl that's dug in about fitness, then she's going to say, well, yeah, you just don't even know that there's discordance in your body and how unhealthy you are. She's going to go off. It's then
Yeah.
about proving you're right, rather than listening or hearing somebody, right?
Yeah.
So I challenge in that moment to show kindness, to cultivate positive energy, and to just take a deep breath. One of the great concepts I learned in therapy that I love is that we can never make good decisions in anger or in that heated head, right? That trigger, because we're not firing the right way. Things aren't going to actually sink in. Everything's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and building. So when you have anything like that, maybe even in those moments, you got to take that energy down. You have to dissemble that negative energy. And the best way to do that is with love. It really is that simple.
I love
With
that.
love.
And that's, I love that. Just not picking up on that energy and not
Yeah.
going with it. Yeah. That is.
No, be an energy warrior.
Be an
Speak honey
energy warrior.
words. That's my biggest one, is speak honey words. Yeah.
Yeah. That almost needs to be your fourth tip, be an energy warrior. I love it.
Mhm. Okay, we'll make it our honorary one.
We will.
Yeah.
Thank you, my darling Madonna. It has been an absolute pleasure to chat with you again. I love you to bits. I cannot wait.
love
Actually,
you.
we need to let everyone know July next year, you are coming to Australia and we are running a retreat, which is very
Oh, it's
exciting.
gonna be so good.
So exciting.
Aw.
So I'm currently in the process of pulling that booking and everything together. So it will be out in the next month or so. No, maybe actually by the time this podcast drops, it's probably out. So yeah. So
By the time
check
I've
us
been
out.
free.
Check us out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, my
Okay.
gorgeous friend. Thank you so much. I love and adore you. Go and have a beautiful evening for you, day for me. And everyone, thank you for listening. Drop us any comments or any thoughts about our discussion today, and you'll see the links in the show notes for where to find Madonna and all of her beautiful work and all of the beautiful offerings that she has. But thank you, everybody. Thanks again. Thanks, Madonna.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much for anchoring this space. It's wonderful. I appreciate you so much. Love you, honey.
An invitation to you, my friend. The Embody Confidence Retreat, July 2024, is here and ready for you. Check out the link in the show notes. Madonna Goddess and I are taking a group of women on a soul-nourishing journey. There'll be lots of beautiful surprises and delights. We'll have a focus on body acceptance, yoga, some personal development workshops, and all things self-love and self-care. But mostly it's some time out to connect, sit in circle with other women, and really deepen your own connection to self. If you are interested, if you are excited, I would absolutely love to have to chat with you about it. So reach out if you've got any questions. Otherwise, link in show notes. Come and join Madonna and I and have the most delightful journey and trip of a lifetime.